What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today, I am going to be reviewing the brand new Marvels film. It's called The Marvels. You may have heard of it, you may not have. It doesn't seem like anyone is watching the movie, which is justified. But I'm just going to drop the charade here. What's going on? Like, honestly, what is going on? Because I hate to be a downer, especially when it comes to things that I love. And I have seen so many people on the internet just discuss how Marvel is dying, how, oh, they're falling off, the MCU's in shambles, everything's falling apart. And, you know, it's very irritating to me, at least, coming from a long-time fan. Because I never usually go with that, you know. Marvel may slip and fall, and they may lose their way, but, like, they're still gonna come out with occasional bangers. Like, honestly, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Loki Season 2, which I just finished watching, which I highly recommend, is fantastic. But then they release a film like The Marvels, and it has me question everything. Like, literally everything that's going on behind the scenes. And I don't know how to take it anymore. I thought that Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was gonna be the worst Marvel movie released this year. I don't know how wrong I could have been, to be honest with you. Like, I am actually in shock. But before I really get into this review and really deep dive this movie, you might be wondering to yourself, what is The Marvels about? And basically, The Marvels is about Captain Marvel, played by Brie Larson, and Kamala Khan, or Miss Marvel, you may know her, and Monica Rambeau, and they have been intertwined. Every single time one of them uses their powers, and they use it at the same time, they switch places. And there's a villain behind the scenes trying to extract resources to fulfill her planet because of plot lines that happened in Captain Marvel. You notice how I just didn't care when I tried to explain to you this movie? That's how it is. Like, cause I'm honestly just sad at this point. You know, like, I hate being this guy, because I know a lot of people are actually enjoying this movie, which I am going to address right now. This movie is really weird from a point of view of there's a lot of people who love this movie, and a lot of people who absolutely hate and despise this movie. I'm on the more of the dislike side, like, very dislike. I just want to say this right now, I had no anticipation for this movie. You know, I wasn't super excited. I wasn't like, oh yeah, Captain Marvel 2, let's go. Like, I wasn't even excited for it. I didn't even really like Miss Marvel that much. Like, I like the character a lot, which I'm gonna get to, but the show I just thought was mid, and like Monica, I thought she was fine in WandaVision, but, you know, all of it coming together, I was just like, this could be good, this could be something, I guess, like, it could be something. I didn't think it was gonna be this bad, I just thought it would be mediocre at best. Somehow they dropped below it, which I don't know how they did it so badly. I just kind of want to get to this movie, and I want to get to the things I dislike, and I think the things that really hold this movie back and make this probably one of the worst Marvel movies of all time. But before I really get into that, I do want to discuss the good things, because there are a couple good things. They're short, but I'm going to be talking about them. I want to talk about the good first. And I think the biggest thing I want to talk about when it comes to pros is Iman Vellani. If you don't know who she is a fairly new actress, and she plays Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel. Now, I kind of alluded to it before, but I didn't really like Miss Marvel as the show very much. But the one thing I will always say about Miss Marvel that I really enjoyed was Kamala Khan herself. The character in that show is very charming, very endearing, and I really liked her. So I was actually slightly excited to see what she could do in this movie, but the actress herself is still great. I think she was probably the best part of the movie. Some of my people I was with said she screamed a little bit too much. I didn't think it was too bad. I can kind of get what they're saying, but I still thought she was very charming, a very nice character, and I just liked her interactions with Monica and Brie Larson. I just thought the three of them actually did a pretty good job on screen. Like, I actually didn't mind these three opposed to, like, other characters in the MCU. So I'll give them that. That was actually not bad part of the movie. And I also do want to say that some of the fight choreography was decent. Like, there's a scene very early on in the movie with Nick Fury and Miss Marvel where they're sort of, like, fighting in, like, this space hangar type ship, and I thought that was kind of cool. I thought it was kind of unique, and when they are swapping between each other, it is cool occasionally. And also, I think the biggest thing and the last thing I do want to talk about for positives is the ending, the post-credits scene, which is such a cheap thing, and I'm going to be talking about it because I'm just going to say it right now. I'm not going to outright spoil it. You probably know what it is. I'm just gonna say it right now. If you've seen any of the marketing and the desperation from Marvel Studios to get you come seeing the movie, you probably know what the ending is because they've teased it. They have alluded to it throughout the trailers, and it's just ridiculous. It's honestly kind of sad. But yes, obviously I'm going to be starting with the negatives now. And my first big thing I want to talk about is the editing. And all I gotta say about that is what happened. Because honestly, it's such a little nitpick. But there was one moment in the movie I really do want to say, and it really bugged me throughout the course of the movie, is when all our heroes get their powers entangled, and they're switching places all the time. The first time it happens, they never mention it. Like, they never even slightly, like, make it a big deal, like, oh, that's kind of weird, why are we switching places, you know? There's never, like, a conversation of, you know, maybe this is what we should do, or maybe them trying to figure out what's going on. No. They all switch, and then the next scene, they're back to where they were originally. Like, it just feels like, it was like, well, we don't have time, even though we very clearly do. It was such a weird choice, but it bugged me the entire movie, and I think that really reflects the pacing of the movie, because the pacing is terrible. The pacing is just like running a marathon constantly, or it almost felt like the audience was going to become super uninterested, so they just sped through everything. And this movie's an hour and a half long, and actually made the movie really hard to follow for a portion of it. And that came down to the script as well. There are certain moments in the movie where they literally have it be a throwaway line as a big like plot point. Like as an example, the villain. You never really understand what the villain is doing throughout the movie, but if you listen really closely, there's like one throwaway line. You know what this movie felt like? This movie felt like if you took 3 completely different movies and you took all 3 and you kind of found the most like mid parts of all of them and you smushed them all together, but then in the process what they did is they went all the important scenes that add to character development, actually explaining what the hell is going on, we're just gonna take those out. We're just gonna take those out, throw them in the fucking trash, we don't need them anymore. And then we just package it up, and there's the Marvels. A movie that literally feels like 3 different movies, which makes it feel like the most exhausting and confusing experience from a story point of view. Because there's just so much going on. Like, and I understand that some people are going to be able to follow it, but there's so many different ideas in this movie, and good ideas at that. Like, there are actually a couple pretty good ideas in terms of stories for these characters. But they're not addressed more than once. Like, they happen once, and then they never are brought up again. And I felt like those ideas could have been more explained in this movie and more fleshed out, and it would have made the movie, honestly, feel a lot better. It would have made it feel a lot more focused and actually had something going for it. But this movie, honestly, just relied on cheap jokes that weren't funny and just were kind of exhausting to listen to. And obviously with that, honestly, the villain is kind of awful in this movie. Like, not kind of. The villain is awful. It's the most like one-dimensional, one-note villain I've seen in a while. It's literally Ronan the Accuser 2, but take everything that made kind of Ronan cool, even though he wasn't the most developed villain in the world, and just make him so boring. Like, honestly, she's such a boring character. I don't even remember her name. I'll put her name on screen, but I honestly, for the life of me, cannot remember her name, and I do understand what she was trying to do and the morals behind her, but the thing is that she wasn't intimidating in the slightest. And another thing I noticed throughout this movie, through the course of the runtime, is that this movie doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. And when I say that, I don't mean it like it's not very funny, or it doesn't have like that, I guess, more upbeat tone, you know, more goofy, because this is a Marvel movie, you know. Comic book movies, they do have to be goofy to a certain extent, but this movie, it felt like a Nickelodeon movie to me. Like, it felt like it just went off the walls, just super goofy, but it came off as stupid. Even something like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was bad, but it wasn't like so goofy to a point where it was unbearable. This movie was like that. It was just non-stop goofy Nickelodeon antics, bunch of one-liners, and just terrible jokes most of the time, and scenes that really don't feel like they belong in this movie. Like, there's a sequence in this movie where they go to a distant planet, and all the inhabitants of this planet only speak in song. Just for me saying that, I felt all your souls drop, just like, oh no. That's how it is in the movie. When it happened, I looked at all my friends and just... I guess it could have been funny for like a throwaway thing, just like, oh, quickly, oh, haha, you know, but it kept going, and going, and going, and going, and it went to a point too where I don't know if I should spoil it. I'm just gonna say it right now, Captain Marvel becomes a Disney princess. And another thing, and this is my last thing I'm gonna talk about, I need to go do something else besides talk about this movie, because I'm getting more depressed the more I talk about it. And my last thing is, I realize that some people like Brie Larson. I understand that she's been in some good things, you know? Like, she, from my knowledge, is an Oscar winner. Like, she's not a bad actress, and in real life, seems like she's a pretty cool person. And, you know, I tried to give the benefit of the doubt, because I did not like her in Captain Marvel. I thought her performance was pretty wooden, I thought it was kind of uninteresting, and I just didn't like how she was basically a flawless character that had nothing going for her and didn't really have much of a personality. I don't like her still. I'm sorry. I just don't like her. And that's no disrespect to the actress. I think people who go out of their way to harass people, and especially actors in these movies, I think you're all despicable. Because, like, why would you do that? Why would you go out of your way just to cyberbully someone like that? And I understand when you say, well, but Gavin, they're all famous and, like, they have so much money, why would they care? Everyone has feelings. Like, what are you screaming about her for? But I'm not gonna sit here and say that she was great in the movie, because she just wasn't. She was very uninteresting again. I thought the acting was really strange a lot of the time. But honestly, the only thing I think that she needs is just a little bit more development in her character. And a little bit more in terms of just figuring out what they want the character to be. Because I really feel like that's the big problem with Captain Marvel. They haven't figured out what they want to make her yet. So she feels very all over the place in terms of a character, and a lot of the things she does seems very out of character because we don't really have a good handle on what her character is about right now. It's just very weird in terms of performance. But before I die, I'm gonna give a score for this movie. I'm gonna give this movie, and this is shocking, I'm gonna give this movie a 2 out of 10. Like, I understand there are some people who like it, and you know what, man? That's great. You like this movie. I'm nothing but happy for you. I did not. I had a pretty terrible experience with this movie. I didn't like it. I thought it was very all over the place, very unfocused, not funny at all. I thought a lot of the things that could have been great were definitely wasted and just thrown to the side in the garbage can. And honestly, I have no idea where we go from here. But anyways, if you like this video, please like and subscribe down below for more content on our channel coming pretty damn soon. And I'm gonna see you all in the next one. See ya.